Hi, everybody. Ezra Levant here from Rebel News. I see that Donald Trump has announced that the United States has performed a surgical attack on three nuclear sites in Iran. Let me read to you his post on Truth Social moments ago. He said, "We have completed our very successful attack on three nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for attention to this matter."
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan.
I have some thoughts on this. The first is that it's no surprise. I mean, I suppose the timing might be a surprise, but even that Trump alluded to the other day. Trump has called for the removal of Iranian nukes for more than a decade. Even before he ran for office, he must have done it 100 times. If you don't believe me, just check Twitter or his video comments.
Don't let Iran have nuclear weapons. That's my only thing I have to tell you today. Don't let them have it. They would have never had them, including Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. That's all. They can't have nuclear weapons. I wanted to make a deal with them. No nuclear weapons. You can't have nuclear weapons. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. That was the only thing. I just didn't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I said, we're going to make a great deal. Everybody's going to be happy. You're going to be rich as hell again. Everything's going to be great.
His explanation for this is as simple as it is obvious. Iran is run by a death cult. The Ayatollahs, they long for an apocalypse, and they've showed that. Letting them have nukes would be tantamount to letting a terrorist group have nukes, as opposed to a more rational state like China or India. Trump's vision of America first does not mean pacifism or appeasement. It means America isn't into nation building or into foreign entanglements. A surgical strike is the opposite of an entanglement. It's like when Trump lobbed a few cruise missiles at Syria in his first term, or when he cleaned out ISIS in a few weeks. Short and sharp. Trump also didn't risk Americans. He let Israel's Air Force clean up Iranian air defenses for a week. Qatar paid influencers online, talking about no war for Israel, but Netanyahu didn't ask for U.S. intervention. The opposite, actually. Since the terrorist attack against Israel on October 7th, 2023, Netanyahu has wanted America to stop telling Israel to fight with one hand tied behind its back, like Biden did.
Israel, America's closest ally, fighting for its life, fighting against Iran and our other common enemies. Secretary Blinken assured me that the administration is working day and night to remove these bottlenecks. I certainly hope that's the case.
People forget how anti-American Iran has been under the mullahs. Death to America is their slogan. They kidnapped American diplomats in the 70s. They murdered 200 U.S. Marines in Lebanon. They were a large menace in Iraq, still are to this day. They're likely responsible for most U.S. deaths in Iraq. They harbored the Taliban after 9/11. They tried to assassinate Trump personally. They are America's enemy as much as Israel's enemy. Now, Israel wiped out Hezbollah and the bulk of Iran's military and terrorist regime, with the U.S. doing the one special mission that Israel does not have the technology to do.
Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago.
No one could possibly think that the world isn't safer today. This is not the start of a war, let alone a world war. Russia has made it clear it's going to stay out of this. If anything, this clears the way for the next round of Abraham Accords, the peace treaties between Israel and other Muslim countries. Watch the price of oil in the days ahead. I predict it will not go up. Things are more stable in the Middle East now, not less so. In terms of regime change, most of the world, except for Qatar paid influencers, want the Ayatollahs to go, and the Shah's son could be a successor. The Iranian people are largely liberal and secular and educated and somewhat wealthy. It's not like Afghanistan or Somalia, which are failed states. Iran could move forward under a normal government, but even if it doesn't, a defanged Ayatollah is not much of a risk to anyone. Their main risk in the weeks ahead, I think, is an Islamist terrorist cell in the West. In fact, that's precisely what Keir Starmer said to Trump this week. According to the Daily Telegraph newspaper, Starmer warned that Iranian sleeper cells in the UK could be activated if America does something in Iran. But that's a U.S. immigration and police problem, not a U.S. foreign affairs or military problem. Canada, well, Canada has no role other than issuing press releases that no one of any consequence considers, except that in recent weeks, the Israeli government has warned that members of the Ayatollah's regime may be fleeing to Canada. That's where they would join hundreds of Iranian operatives working unmolested by police here right now. Look, the world is more peaceful today than it was before, and America's reputation is markedly stronger than it was 6 months ago under Biden. Whether you're Russia, China, North Korea, or Yemen, it's pretty obvious now that when Trump tells you you have 60 days to negotiate a peace deal, he means it. America's back. No more Obama pallets of cash for your enemies. The world is less dangerous. America's enemies are weaker. Its friends are stronger. Not a drop of American blood has been spilled. I think that's what America first looks like.